I didn't know I was supposed to do that. I was like, I thought it was a him thing.
Man's like, oh, there was a plan? Fuck. All right, cut the closers. Yeah, it's your boy E-Maze coming in live from the Ha Ha Hemp Lounge. So happy to have you. You make good decisions.
This nigga on a cliffhanger, bro. Face it out. What the
Cinema.
fuck?
The thing about comedy, it's all about time.
Exactly. Thank you for tuning in. We are your closers. I, as always, am your boy E-Maze. To my left, that boy Reek, the closer. On the ones and twos, as always, that boy Ferrari. Never say sorry. Working on his personality, Yari.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest with us. We're so happy to have our mans in the building. That big boy. Call it young LA legend. Mr. LA Parlay. Mr. I get what I need to get and I get my money and I go.
Hey,
that boy,
fact,
LA.
Big
Appreciate
facts.
you, my boy. Thank you for dropping in.
It's a pleasure to be here, man.
So happy to have you guys.
For real.
So happy to have you. It's big time coming. Appreciate you coming through. You've seen the show. You see how we do it. We're just going to fire off the hip and we're just going to go for it, man. As the guest, we have to ask you, brother, how was your last shift?
Oh, yeah. It's number one.
Honestly, my last shift was good. The shift before that was bullshit. It's easier to remember the bullshit.
Yeah.
Let me see. Saturday. Yeah. Actually Friday.
Friday, okay.
Friday was the bullshit shift.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday was cool. It was smooth. It was another day in the office.
Okay. All right. All right. That's what's up. All right. Let's give him a little bit of background on our boy right here. Our boy LA. We've worked with him, what, 3 years now?
Long time now.
Long time. Good little minute, right?
2.5.
2.5
years.
Okay,
that.
cool. Going on 3.
We actually worked together at a restaurant previous before y'all met.
I met Yari before I even met y'all at Little
Oh,
Alley.
word?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was my first job when I came out here.
Oh, true shit. Okay.
You was working at Little
The
Alley.
spot
Yeah.
burnt down and whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
wow.
met him at Little Alley, and he went to the next place first.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, that looked like a move. And then a couple other people did the same thing. And then I came like 6 months later, almost a year later.
Next thing you know, I seen him sitting at the table with the GM.
Who else? Who else came from Little Alley that was over there?
Well, he was there before.
Tyler,
me,
okay,
but he
so
came-
Tyler-
yeah,
yeah,
so-
I was
you know,
like, my mind
got a
stopped. I
couple
was like,
people.
oh, man. Yeah.
Oh, we have to redact
So
all
yeah,
these names.
so
like,
so to talk about
we gotta
it,
redact
Yeah, I do
all
remember
these
Brandon.
names.
Yeah.
to talk about it in a way that we can. It's like one restaurant helped out another after.
Nah.
No.
Nah, but then we got to blurt that story because they'll Google it.
Long story short,
Long
the
story
world
short.
is small.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But that's what's up. That's what. And you work in the private dining section of our job, right?
I do, but it wasn't always like that.
My man
Started from the bottom.
My man was on the floor with the team. My man used to be, he
Gen
was-
Pop. I call it Gen Pop.
Gen Pop. My man. Now he got a suite.
Yeah.
My man on
It's cool,
the Upper
man.
East Side. Tell us a
Grass
little bit
ain't
about
always
that.
greener on the other side.
Okay,
I
so
said, like,
Hey, I feel
we got to give them a background on what private dining. Obviously, you have our dining room,
Establishment.
our establishment. You know what I'm saying? We might have 2 floors or whatever, and then they got like their own room that can be for what? Like, what's the smallest amount of people y'all got?
I say, like, it go anywhere from, a 7 top to...
Maybe 7 people.
I mean,
to like
I would say
50.
7's even kind of small. 7,
Yeah.
but like 7 to 50.
Yeah.
So like
you
a
spend the
regular
right
size
amount of
table.
money.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It don't really matter. You
don't
can
matter.
have 5 people in there.
And
Yeah, so I'm
bang
just trying
out.
to give the viewers an overview of what private dining is, because a lot of people don't know like what you mean by
The
private
difference.
dining.
All
You know
right,
what I mean?
so obviously, if you go to fine dining, it's going to be white tablecloth, wine glasses on the table. The setup is totally different than going to like a tapas spot. You know what I mean? As far as the fine dining, I think it's a lot of the service aspect is similar. The guest expects something. I think the biggest thing is though, mainly is the planning and the way everything's structured. Because when you come in, like you get a table and you get the dupe for the table and you read it and you go over it, it might not have nothing on it if you're on the regular floor. In the private dining, you know kind of what you're dealing with. It's like you got 30 people. We're going to sit down at this time, or you might not know any of that, but you need to figure that stuff out.
Right.
You know, I think that's the biggest difference is like, are we going to cocktail? Like, you got to like locate the host.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are we going to cocktail for another 30 minutes, another hour? We have hors d'oeuvres, or we don't have hors d'oeuvres. Like, you know, what type of water preference are we looking for? Regular ice water, bottled? Maybe we didn't select the wine yet. So I need to address these type of things, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe they don't even have a set menu that's a 4-course or 3-course. Maybe they're going a la carte, and you need to say, you know what? I'd suggest we get a couple of appetizers to share for the table. You know,
Yeah,
so I
that's
think that's the
crazy.
main difference.
And you
It's
talking about
just
with 30 people? That's, you know what I mean.
That's a certain level of coordination that requires a certain amount of focus.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, but also that's why you just locate the host, and the host like handles all of that.
Yeah.
And it
So
shows
it's
you.
easier for y'all. Like I would say, as far as like getting what everybody wants at one time, you can just go talk to a host.
Exactly, because I'm not asking everybody individually.
Yeah, we're not asking you. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. It's easier. It's an easier aspect of, you know, when you on the floor and you got a 15 top.
You got an individual.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, individual.
You're in the middle. You're in gym pop with a 15 top, and you got
Hey,
and you got to
lie.
basically, you know what I'm saying? Get what you want to appetizer. Oh, this person wants to butt into your shit. Oh, I want an appetizer too. Blah blah blah. Like
Yeah, you feel
you
like
got
gotta
15
make
motherfuckers
everybody
that's trying to
happy.
talk to you at the same time.
But I'll
you
say
know.
like even in situations like that, what private dining has taught me, if I have like a 12 top or a 10 top on the floor, sometimes I could just go speak to the host.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
certain
You
level.
know what I mean?
It often
That's what,
provides a certain level of control. That you
Yeah,
don't
because the
generally get
host
a
is
lot.
like,
That's what
booked the
Messiah
party.
do upstairs.
Yeah.
And the host might even
Sharp.
point you to
Sharp.
the person that's like, oh, I don't know anything about wine. You talk to that
Yep.
person, and it's like, oh, that's the person to talk to.
Yeah.
You
And it's a
know?
really great
Or-
way to consolidate a lot of what you're doing.
Exactly. Or you know, you get a 10 top or a 12 top instead of actually asking everybody individually what
Yeah.
they want. You can go to the host and say, look, what I recommend y'all doing is start with some hot appetizers, some shellfish towers, you know, throw some
Right,
stones on
right.
it, and then on the floor, I will even say like, I love the upside and the thrill of being on the floor. I miss that.
Yeah.
You know, being in private dining, it's like, oh, you got a 3-course menu, 4-course menu, and you kind of know what you're jumping into. It gets old after a while.
Yeah.
Like being on the floor, there's some type of thrill that comes with, like going up to the table, and them saying, you introducing yourself and everything, and them saying, bring me a bottle of Silver Oak,
Yeah.
and you being like, whoa,
Right.
I ain't expect that.
Yeah.
Right,
I like y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all my type of people.
You're like, oh,
Yeah.
word. Like, we having that type of
It's like,
night?
wait,
And
you
like
know
the
what?
Napa. The Napa.
Y'all kind of broke the ice for me. Now I'm
Yeah.
gonna suggest everything I wasn't.
Yeah, it's
if you're not
excitement.
a big seller, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a thrill of the sale. I think
Yeah.
a lot
Right.
of times it's kind of like people that are able to convince people to do things or something like that. Or you walk up and sometimes you get some shit dropped in your lap. Like you said like that. You walk up, hey, how you guys doing?
That's-
Hey, we're celebrating my boy's 6th anniversary. Blah blah blah. Bet, nice. We're gonna do bomb and then give us a bottle of 1942.
Yeah, Dom Perignon.
Dom Perignon.
And you're like, oh,
You're like, yeah,
right.
man, he's getting married.
Got you
tomorrow,
looking at
da, da, da.
tech like, do I deserve this?
Yeah.
You feel me? I guess I do.
I'd be like, what's for me is for me, God.
I ain't gonna argue about what God done for me. Either way, but
God don't make mistakes.
And then also the aspect of you selling people on that shit too, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, you getting the bottle of Silver Oak, you getting Alexander, or you
or
getting
you
Napa.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
if you
Yeah,
get the
yeah.
Alexander, you might just be, you know what I mean? You cool people.
you cool.
Yeah, all right.
That's kind of like the cheat code with working in the private too, because you work in the private and it's like they could have Camus that they already selected, and it doesn't sound like a lot or the best wine if you.
But you
been in
got
the
how
industry.
many bottles of that shit?
But it's like you got 10 bottles compared to what you would have had like Sean Mine or some
Yeah.
low tier
And
wine. And it's
Camus
like
is
y'all
200
already
bottle.
blessed us. Like it's
Yeah.
a different type of a feeling of, obviously you got to take care of everybody.
yeah,
But it's a different entitlement that comes with it when you know.
fuck
they're
it. You're dealing with a
spending
different tax bracket when you get
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're dealing with businesses, companies that like right. Like
Yeah,
I've seen
and
like you guys do a lot of like you're always doing something, but like holiday parties or like family events. Like these are things that people have set out to do already.
In their budgets.
In their budgets, yes, they wrote
We
a
put
budget
this-
just for this.
It's mind blowing.
You
It's
get
my-
invited
yeah,
to
it's
you get
mind-blowing.
invited to this party if you in the bonuses. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you,
Like,
you
but-
own a sales company.
Yeah.
And the people who's at,
The one that we did downstairs was like that, and they were banging off.
Yeah, bro, because like
Yeah.
all those salesmen are there because they got invited to the annual party. You know what I mean?
And so
Yeah.
like
that's not all of the motherfuckers. That's not all the salespeople in the goddamn
In the whole company,
500
definitely
company.
yeah.
That's
And this is
that's the
just
top 15
in our
motherfuckers who
state.
sold some shit. Them niggas
This
was
is-
all
this is
popping.
just
They
in
all
our
got bread
state,
too.
in our city,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
in our state.
Yeah, no,
Because there's
you're
people
right.
sometimes that'll be
Georgia.
like, I traveled 2 hours or an hour away,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
we got to leave early. And I'm
like-
like, thank God, because I ain't trying to be
Cause
here.
y'all did. It was like you had like SEC championship weekend. You had like what Georgia's like
Texas.
Texas. You
Yeah,
had
Texas
like
whole
governor.
executive.
Yeah,
No, they
the
came
board.
in there, reconstructed the whole room. I showed up at
Exactly.
5 o'clock. And they were already like, half of the stuff was out the room. They looking at me like, you should have been here. And I'm like, look, my end time was my end time.
Exactly.
Right.
Hey, excuse me, sir. I don't work for the
Yeah,
University of
I
Texas.
work
The fuck,
for
this
them.
is your job. I came to serve the food. But-
Exactly.
So that's dope. Okay.
Also, the amount of celebrities that go into private.
Yes.
dining, too.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's
I
really-
got the opportunity to take like.
Who was the biggest?
I would say The Rock.
The Rock.
The Rock?
Yeah, the Rock.
Yeah,
You know
he
what's
did.
wild? Like I wasn't even in the private dining
that night.
that night. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't scheduled in there. He
Yeah.
called up there and said, me and my wife are having, you know, a dinner for 2 for her birthday. It's a late notice, but can somebody take care of us? And this was actually the first time that because I work in the private dining, they were like, oh, you're taking care of that party because you work private dining.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, damn, I didn't
Yeah.
go unnoticed for
And
once.
the-
You know?
He's a- it's
'Cause
a
they'll
lo-
throw anybody in there
Yeah.
at the beginning.
yeah, but if
Now
the
they
private
kinda like-
dining, so, yeah, it is one of those things. Like if
Like,
I work private dining, why would you put anyone else in there?
Put some respect on my name.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
Hey,
Facts.
let's not play this game, bitch.
Yeah, that's not. But nah, The Rock was super cool. Like super dope, down to earth, like in the middle of that whole like dining experience. He's sitting there asking me questions like he really want to know. I'm like, I'm gonna answer these questions, but I ain't that important right now. You feel me? But he was dope. Like wants you to feel like you're
Yeah.
part of the experience. And if I see him out in public, I know for sure he knows my face. Like
Oh,
Okay.
that's dope.
I don't know if he's gonna recognize where he knows me from.
But he's like,
But
I've
I'll
seen
give him
you.
that look,
Yeah.
and he'll be like,
Right.
I know you.
I
You
know
know what I
you.
mean?
Kinda
Dope.
like-
Like that's how down to earth he was.
Oh, that's what's up.
Who did he come with that time?
His girl.
That's
Yeah,
it.
It was,
Okay.
it was his wife.
Nah, I remember somebody else had came in, sat in the private dining.
I mean, I think it was his wife. I don't want to blow the spot out.
No.
Real wife,
Nah. Well,
He said, that's what I
I'm talking
said.
about somebody else. Y'all had in the private dining as a celebrity. Like,
I mean,
recent.
we had a couple. So you know what was dope that we did? We did prize picks too. So we had Sean O'Malley, all of the people who do
yeah,
all of the
yeah,
prize
yeah.
picks. So we had Sean O'Malley. I mean, I don't even know a lot of these guys' names, but it's like my brother's 22. He's a whole bunch of big streamers.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
gamer. If he's seen him, he would have been going crazy.
Oh wow.
Will Ferrell is another one.
Yeah,
The
Will
dope
Ferrell
thing
was in there.
about Will Ferrell is I took care of him in New York once when I worked at the restaurant I worked at. And then he came out here and I ended up taking care of him twice.
Oh, wow.
that's what's up.
So I was like, yo, he don't know me though. He's too big. Like,
Yeah,
me
that's
and
Will
him-
Ferrell.
And that's where you appreciate the experiences you have with the famous people when you do have
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know if any of y'all can relate, like having an experience with like a famous person and being like, that was dope. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm just
Super
a regular
Bowl week
person.
that we had down here. Super Bowl when I was working in Midtown. Fucking met a lot of people that are actually kind of dope. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like literally, pause. Adrian Peterson's the biggest human being I've ever seen in my life.
Nah,
He's like 2 fucking GE refrigerators together, bro. And Mark Ingram's very small. He looks like a small child. He's like a little 10-year-old. I was like, 10-year-old with a beard. I was like, that's funny. But let's talk a little bit about, you said you worked up north. You worked in New York. Let's talk a little bit about your experience in the industry. I know we talked about where we know you from, but let's get a little bit of information about like where you're coming from, what you've grown through into getting to where you are now. So tell us a little bit about New York and how you got it started. But there's also, a little bit of serving and also hospitality in a sense, because as much as we do in the industry, it's a straight hospitality. You're making people feel good. Like you said, you spoke about The Rock making you feel like a part of the meal, and him making you feel like, hey man, like it's not just I'm just standing here just serving you. It's kind of like
Yeah.
we're all in here in the experience. We're all people walking in this life that's doing everything. So like the opportunities, I think that you got you to here. Tell us a little bit about
So
that.
I say it's just, you know, over the time. Well, first of all, I've been in restaurants like forever. My first job was Taco Bell. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm not ashamed to say it because once
Yeah.
you climb up to a certain
Yeah.
level, you climb the ladder, you feel like,
You
you know, I'm
jump.
not proud of this, but it's like that's old news and like I've surpassed that.
It'd be different if you still worked at Taco Bell.
You know what I
That'd
mean?
be crazy.
It'd be different, you know, but
Yeah.
all in all, you know, I have some like pretty much all restaurant experience. I have some like retail when I worked back in New York too at like an outlet. But for the most part, my walk was. All right, so I tell you, like coming from New York, my main experiences were like at lower tier restaurants, and then I climbed up. So I worked at like Joe's Stone Crab. Like, bro, I have worked at every single restaurant in the industry. Like Joe's Stone Crab, TGI Fridays, Applebee's. Like, you run down the list, and it got to the point where I was getting fired from all these spots because I was immature. I would be calling out, and I'd be like, well, it's a nice day today. And then after getting fired from like the third spot, I was like, man, I can't keep doing this shit. You know what I mean? This ain't it. You start to learn as like just, we all got different experiences, but my experience was just like, I can't keep getting fired from these jobs, and I'm starting to get better jobs and better jobs. So it's just not a good look, first of all. You go to the next interview, and it's like, well, how long do you stay at this job? And it was like 2 months, a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
bro, you start writing
like,
a short ass resume. That resume be.
And you got to start lying. You got to say, I've been here for 3 years. You know what I mean? Hopefully they don't call. That's actually how I got my first serving job. I lied and said I was serving at another spot.
Oh, yeah.
I think all of us got a job like that.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I got my boy a job like that in college.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I told him that he worked at a restaurant with me in high school. I didn't meet that motherfucker till sophomore year of college.
Be like that.
Be like that, but
bro.
put you on a... My bad, go ahead.
No, but I was going to tell you, as far as my experience in New York, I worked for this Italian restaurant. It was the first time I did white cloth fine dining, and that spot was the busiest, highest grossing restaurant in the United States. And for the third year that I worked for them, and I worked for them for like 4 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then the pandemic came, I messed up all of the plans, restaurant industry took a hit.
Yeah, set everybody on a new course.
All in all, what I'd say is like the biggest difference between the North and the Southern restaurants that I work at. In the North, I feel like it is really hard in those places like New York and northern states to get like great restaurant jobs to a certain extent, or great, like the higher the tier it is, the more political it gets in New York, in my experience. Yeah, depending on the area you're working in, depending on what you look like. You talk about having like, long hair and dreads and stuff. Some of them places, I know for a fact, they're like just political, white collar, like they're not trying to allow that in those establishments. They are still like old school. And the crazy thing is, slavery was like trying to still be abolished in the South. You know what I mean?
But like certain practices,
so it's
in
like
the
that
North,
type of stuff is backwards to me.
Yeah.
But then I come down to a state like this, and it's like, there's more opportunity for the minorities and the blacks. I guess so you can't close the door on us in certain establishments. So
that's fair. And
it was just interesting to see, like, coming down here and being like, it was real political up north.
Where it should be more of like a melting pot in the sense of like freedom. Yeah. Like not to say freedom in the wrong way, but like, I guess like with freedom to express yourself. Like certain places, like, I mean, not to even bring up sports randomly, I just figured out that like the New York Yankees don't allow their people to have facial hair. Yeah, that's that type of stuff. That like, you go up north and they're like, it's just a clubhouse rule. It's an unwritten rule. It's a, like kind of thing. It's not even unwritten. It's written. It's a thing. It's like they all know that. Like if you look at the New York Yankees, nobody has facial hair, not even like sideburns. Random, but like I feel you on that. That's like that northern stuff. And you know what I mean? I think that's also fucking weird. They'll have like unwritten rules, and you'll be having an interview with them, and just be like, "Man, I know I'm too hood to get this." Yeah, dreadlocks. Like, I didn't even live in the hood. I live next to the hood. You know what I mean? Dreadlocks. The apartment's affordable. Don't do that to me.
I think I got
how often do you get those dreads clean?
When I had,
I had long ass locks.
Taking notice of pointless shit.
My first serving job was the first time I like hacked my hair off. I had to. I asked them if I could wear it in like cornrows, and they said no. And it was actually like up to like a black manager that ended up saying no to me being able to like actually put it up some kind of way. It was about like this long. And
so you had to rock the fro, or what they make you do?
I had to cut it all off. I had to cut it off, follow certain rules.
Nigga, what?
Yeah.
Did you cut it off?
That's the worst feeling.
You cut it off?
Yeah, and then
that's crazy.
Keep the job that long.
Yeah, see,
that's what I'm saying. Like, what the fuck?
Shaving, I never do that.
Yeah, see, it's just, I think, it's just one of those things. Like the clean shaven, like it is still very service in a certain aspect. Is like, like he said, like slavery and like segregation, and racism, like that for the South. I think in the North it was just to be. There's like shows and shit where they show like you ever seen like what was it? Gangs in New York, how they were back then, like still very English and shit like that.
No, I've never seen it.
You never seen it?
Really good.
Really? You've never seen Gangs in New York?
Oh, Gangs
the
in
Butcher.
New York. Oh, I seen Gangs in London.
Gangs in London is
Gangs
still
in
very
Yeah,
good.
Gangs in
shit.
London has
Gangs in London is cold.
yeah,
Yeah, no, that shit's wild
what's
cold.
his
But like,
fucking name?
but I think it's from the
This one is
standpoint of
Leonardo
like,
DiCaprio.
yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio was that one. It was a film.
Is that a series?
Daniel Day-Lewis?
Is that a series or a
No
movie?
film, just a straight film. Back early 2000s, something like that, like
No.
mid 2000s, right?
I ain't never seen
Something
it.
like that. But
I gotta watch it.
I
then.
think it's from the
gotta watch it.
standpoint
It's
of
good?
like,
Fire.
yeah, no, amazing, very good movie.
Something
But
to
Gangs
watch.
of London, fire ass.
That's a
series.
show, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a show.
that's
Netflix
new,
got
like,
it. Netflix got it, right?
series,
Yeah, yeah, I saw that.
I can't wait for that new season.
It's
With the
coming out.
guy
wild.
who's from who's Thomas Shelby's brother. from
Yeah, the
Brooklyn.
little one.
Oh,
The-
this is the Guy Ritchie shit.
No, but it's
Guy Ritchie has like a British gang.
Nah,
type
that's
series
no,
coming
that's
out.
that's with 007 and dude from Venom. That's coming out soon. Yeah, I saw that. I'm gonna fuck with that.
it's gonna be
Heavy.
good,
It's on
yeah.
Paramount Plus. Paramount got some good shit, but we'll get back to this. We'll get back to our job. We do this shit all the time. It's like working in a restaurant. You be having wild questions by going back to, now how would you like your steak prepared? I would definitely put it. I mean, how would you like your steak? Like you start crazy.
No, but for real though, how I do want to ask this.
What?
So I know, like, we get the assholes too. We get the rich assholes.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
You get the extra rich, like, executive assholes who want to show that they're assholes in front of their friends, right? What's the like the nightmare story? Like,
So I'm gonna be
what's
honest.
the hardest shift you had go through
I'm
with
not even
like?
gonna say it's a nightmare story. It's just the one time where I felt like I got so disrespected.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy to me because it was a black person.
Oh, see,
And he didn't have any authority. So I'm gonna
right.
be real. When they come in a private dining, they kind of treat you
Like the help.
like you deserve more respect. You know
Oh,
what
they
I mean?
treat you.
You climb the ladder up here, it's a good nigga. Nah, but they treat you like, yo,
Right.
like, you know what? You're cool to be in this room, and as long as you entitle that space, not from an arrogant or aggressive standpoint, they'll be like, okay, we see why you made it in here because you're good at what you do and your conversation's good. And I think that there's a connotation around the restaurant industry in general that we deal with such horrible asshole people. And I'll say like 98% of the time, that's not true in my opinion. Like, I don't think it is. I don't deal with that a lot.
I'm gonna tell you, if you
You haven't been on the floor in a while.
you ain't been on the floor in a while,
Ain't been in the trenches.
Hey, brother, I gotta go lie. You in a different tax bracket. You in a different tax bracket.
You in a different-
you
yeah.
different range.
You're dealing with corporate. You're
Bro,
dealing with
there's been
corporate.
people that have come into the private dining room that come there and dine in the regulars, and then I go back on the floor and see them just like in a moment, and they'll be like, "Oh, hey,"
Right.
they'll be like, "Happy to see me." You know what I mean? They just respect you a little bit differently.
Right.
So I'll get back to the story. So the worst part about this one was like majority of the higher ups or everybody acts pretty cool, and if they don't act cool with me, they just act like they're very standoffish. That's the most asshole like energy I've gotten. It's just like, oh, I don't really want to talk to you. I don't need to talk to you. I'm here for a meeting, and I'm here to make sure my team's good or celebrate whatever. Like,
Yeah.
And you'll catch that energy. You know, you'll catch that drink.
Okay.
And you'll just be like, I'm gonna stay away from this motherfucker. But all y'all other people, cool. I hate you, nigga. Nah, but it is what it is. But all in all, I was taking plates back for everybody. You know, everybody was done with the entrees on this one specific party.
Yeah.
And the one black dude at the table, the worst part mine is, he is the only black person
At the
In
whole
that party?
event.
Oh, damn.
And he's a nigga. Like, and I don't know. It's like, I'm like, how did you get here? How did you get here? Myself, like, hold on. I can do better. You know what I mean? So I'm a server at a restaurant, and you over here mingling with these business savvy people and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right.
But all jokes aside, it's like, he was like, you could tell he was rough around the edges.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mind you, I'm just joking. I don't shoot no shot. I feel like everybody deserves to be given the same opportunities and treated with the same respect. The majority of
Right.
Yeah.
spaces.
No, but what did he do though?
Yo, so I'm taking the plates off of the table because everybody's done with the entrees and whatnot. Bro, this dude looks at me and moved his plate up and said, "Hey man, take this shit."
No.
Bro,
Nigga,
I was just so out of it, and this is one problem that I was fighting for a while as well. I told y'all other personal stories that I dealt with, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So you know what I did? I literally was hot, but I took the plate and went to the back. This is the difference between me then and me now. Like when I was new in that space. Like I'll tell somebody now, look, you're not gonna speak to me like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'll tell them straight up. And the craziest part is all of the people that were around him, all his colleagues, literally, I remember them looking at him like,
What the fuck?
like
What the
why
fuck
would
was
you
that?
speak to him like that?
Like, what are you doing?
And he thought it was funny. He thought it was like a funny situation, and I didn't really have much to say. Like, I just feel like my pride was hurt from the aspect that when I was looking at myself like, yeah, I'm a server in a restaurant. Guess it's all I've ever gonna be.
He's like, he's right. Like, on some ER shit.
Right. Yo,
That's crazy.
yes, sir, you're right. I was a server. I was like, nah, man. That shit had me so hot, though, bro.
Oh, no, absolutely.
It's like, then you start thinking about fighting. You like, man, I would whoop your ass if I ain't at work.
Exactly.
You know, but
You lucky it's a good job.
Yeah,
it starts to teach you like how to treat yourself, and you know, like there's a saying, it's like teach people how to treat you.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of those old school sayings have been around forever for a reason.
Yeah.
It's because like you don't teach people how to treat you, they're just gonna treat you any type of way.
Exactly.
Even in this job we work in, I feel like even if you get disrespectful with somebody, but you teach people how to treat you, then the management still stands behind you.
Yeah.
In this job,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
so we already talked.
even if you throw hands and stuff, and it's like, look, but who was in the right, who was in the wrong?
we already
You know
talked
what?
about that. So this
Yeah,
is what
I mean,
we
in
talked about on the
general,
last
you know?
podcast.
So,
We talked
but-
about that exact
Yeah, and
scenario.
I know what you're talking about. But
Yeah.
it's cool that the management will stand behind you in some situations. That's like
Nigga, they
up
stood
north.
10 toes.
Up north, something happen like that. That political standpoint, bro, you get everybody's
that.
getting fired.
Yeah.
They're not standing behind you on
No,
nothing.
because like I think the places like up there, like up north, they're establishments. Like we work in an establishment. Like
Yeah.
in our community, in the community of where we work, we are an establishment. A couple other restaurants. I think New York has such an establishment. Like I was saying, with like making a comparison gangs in New York, you got to realize that's where all like Europeans went first. So as it changed into America and stuff like that, I think it still kept some of those certain values of like clean shaven, like, you know, tight, right, no hair, blah, 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 always cleaned up and everything, very much so like be seen, not heard type shit, or be
Right.
used. I think from the South, it came from more for a standpoint of like slower, much more, we provide a certain level of hospitality with the restaurant industry. We provide like experiences, like at what our guy was telling us every day in those meetings for like 2 weeks straight, where we're just like, yeah, bro, okay, we get it.
You know what's one thing I heard with dealing with the North and the South that was kind of like eye opening for me. I'm from the South, right? And I was told that this person told me, they were like, people up north don't be saying like sir when they're talking to like
No,
sir and ma'am
no.
and shit like that to just random people like we're just.
It's definitely
I'm like-
a southern
Like
thing.
even professional.
That's a Southern thing, like
Yeah.
you know what I'm
It's
saying? Like,
definitely a southern thing.
Yeah, without a doubt. You just up north. You're just very like I don't want to say curt. It's just kind of like direct.
Yeah,
you
it's
say,
direct.
Okay, yeah.
so I'm saying
And
like
they'll
at a
just stop.
table,
But I mean, you're
at
talking
a
to your-
table, like if you're serving up there, like you don't be like, excuse me, sir, how you doing? You wouldn't.
I mean, I would. I mean, it's kind of different. I've been gone for
Like
a while.
sir,
now.
you just don't
Like,
say sir, but you would you say
What
ma'am?
about when you talking to
They
your
say
boss?
like basically they
I
were
think
saying
it
they were telling me like
depends.
people don't say sir and ma'am, like they don't
I
say
think the
that shit like
difference
that.
is that up north, it gotta feel genuine. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the people are so direct that they don't want you to fake. And it's like over the years of even my serving experience and hospitality experience, I always felt like there was a moment when I first started serving that I tried to be like more blue collar and perfect than I was, and I would be like, "Hey, how's it?" and like change my voice.
Yeah, no,
up.
see,
And
yeah,
there's
I
been
don't fuck
times
with
where I
that.
walked away from the table and I've been like, "Why am I doing that?" Tripping, like,
What's that show? What's that movie that he put on his white voice
Oh yeah.
with Lakeith Stanfield?
Yeah, Lakeith Stanfield. I forgot.
It's a
that.
movie.
We're gonna put a picture of it.
Yeah, we gotta put that. That shit's
yeah,
hilarious.
but I would literally walk away from the table and be like, "Why am I doing that?" And then once I started being more myself, and it was like you could look at me like my old GM at my last spot was like, "Oh, he seems rough around the edges." And I was like, that's pretty crazy to say, but whatever. You know what I mean? What does that mean?
What is
Break
that?
it down.
What is it?
White kind. What does that mean? Like, what do you say?
What do you
Shape
say?
up?
What do you mean by
You need
that?
that shape up, or is this my personality? You know what I mean?
Like you're a little rough. What
Yeah,
the fuck's that mean?
Yeah. He's basically saying you're a little ghetto, bro.
You're a little
Like,
Yo.
like, what the fuck?
But then
Yeah.
I came in and I had 80 servers. I'm a top 3 server. ever since I stepped in. Like at the end of the year, review and summaries of how you can improve. And
See, they don't even do that shit down here, bro.
And I like that.
That's crazy.
Do that because it gives you more like clout to like be
Move
like,
the way
look,
you need to move,
I went off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm top 5.
I'm top 5.
Top
Like,
5, bro.
there's 80 servers.
Yeah, it's 8.
There's 80.
You
Yeah,
know what
I mean, in the same
percentile
shit.
You know what percent I am? You can't afford to lose me.
Exactly. You feel me? Put some respect on
I
it.
mean,
Yeah, I feel that.
for sure. That's exactly. So,
Fire.
what if? But I mean, like, I don't know. I think people down south would just be like, kind of, that's not
I think
couth to be telling people's.
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like up north, also, you have more of a. We can replace your ass so quick because there's so many motherfuckers
Bro, so many people.
like who come
Yeah.
there to serve
Yeah.
or who go there to.
Yeah, it's one of the like that, and I think
Just like LA, like they have some of the best servers that are
That's
just
what it is?
trying to get
trying to do something else.
acting. They're trying
Yeah.
to be actors.
Yeah,
and
but
that's
they know how to make their money. Like,
bro.
I mean, but you know
I
what
moved
that
to
showed
Atlanta
me?
doing this.
Like just in general within the industry,
Yeah,
and in any industry, there's gonna be overachievers, people who just want to pass, and there's gonna be underachievers, people who don't care. Like in any spot that I've ever went to, it doesn't matter the tier of the spot, and that's why it's easy to notice or recognize the best.
The best, yeah.
From the people who just aren't that good.
Yeah.
And we could sit here and name drop where we at.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why these people stand out.
yeah,
Right.
Because they move different.
There's like a saying to that. There's something about how like 90% of the work is done by 10% of the people, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But I do identify with like a pattern in life of seeing like excellence being about like the top 10% of people. Like a 10% group of people willing to do like more than they're being asked to, or willing to go above and beyond and like be consistent about that, as in like the cream of the crop. I think that is a pretty true thing to say.
It's a good way to put it.
Facts.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah.
We didn't even get past like his last day of work. How was y'all's last day, bro? We just went straight
Yeah,
off.
we just went right into our boy, right into the interview.
Yeah. We went into the whole thing.
The whole thing.
We haven't done any of our segments. All right,
Yeah.
hold on.
Sorry.
How was your shift,
How's
my
my
nigga?
My shift, shit, it was dope. We were busy.
We were busy.
Yeah, we were moving down there. Something I did notice. I gotta talk to our boy about.
Who?
Motherfucker kept the faucet a little tight for me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I noticed at the end of the night, I was like, I wasn't mad at it because I had a couple good days earlier in the week, so I was like, it evens out. But I was like, hey, what you doing? I was like, what you doing?
It's about cover wise, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a, yeah, bro. At one point, it was 30-18. I said, what is this, a Boston Celtics game? Get the fuck out of here.
That's
I just had
crazy.
to do that for you because they've been beating ass.
They've
They've been
cooking,
beating
they've
ass.
been
I fucking
cooking.
hate y'all. But like, it should have been kind of crazy, like to watch that. And I was like, and I understood because I was working with our boy. So I'm like, he was like the last week we had a little bit of a tough time.
Yeah.
So we were working through it, but like he's straight. So I had to hit him with, I'm like, nah, man, stop.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
That ain't
Don't
it.
do that. Huh? I was just like, but it was overall like pretty straight. I'm trying to think of anything OD funny happening over the week. Nah, man, but fuck that.
Bro,
the
I
most
was
important thing. My bad. I'm sorry. What?
I was sick, bro.
You always fucking sick.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Shut the fuck up. No, I definitely had the flu though. I had like the body aches, the chills, everything. Something's like running through my restaurant right now.
Oh, you heard? I just heard this on the radio. It was like measles is in Georgia and shit.
I keep hearing people
Bro,
randomly talking about measles.
Measles, bro. Like, this was right before I got out of the car. I was listening to
Are you
this shit.
serious?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like a bunch of measles. These niggas talking about he's sick and shit. I'm like, hold on, cuz.
Nah, I don't know
But
about
no.
that.
But measles, they also said like it's the most contagious virus in the world.
Measles is?
Yeah.
So it was in the Midwest.
I thought we
It
all
started
got
on the
measles
West Coast,
vaccines, like
Yeah.
mandatory for school.
You had to like the vaccine is only like 60 years old for measles or whatever, but like you took that shit and you don't get it. Now it's like coming back.
Oh, it's coming back stronger? Like stronger than the thing that they gave me when I was a baby?
Well, no.
Oh.
It's the same shit. It's the same shit. Same
I don't
shit.
know, man. They made COVID.
They created
like,
new
But
COVID-22
but
now,
look, but like people aren't getting the vaccines for it, and it's like
when are black people getting vaccinated?
Oh,
For their kids.
You have to get you have to get the measles shot
For their
to go
kids.
to school.
right. But now
Are they not at? Wait, hold on. Are you telling me that schools are asking for
there are
birth
people
records?
who are not doing the vaccine.
You know,
but
they-
it's
They do
Yeah,
have, like,
there's always a couple of them, and they don't allow them in public school.
they have exemptions that people can like
Yeah.
exploit.
So I'm saying,
Somebody's like
Yeah, but then
religious
they're not allowed to
exemptions.
go to school in public school. They're not allowed in there.
I don't know. I
They
think
have
some
like
shit.
religious like beliefs that make them
Yeah, go to your religious school. No, yeah, that's why they have like.
can't learn about God.
But either way,
it's
that's still
because-
putting measles in the
You gonna
community.
join God in a minute. It's like, don't get them shots. You gonna join that? You gonna join the Lord's
I mean,
team.
but it's like it's just like it's okay. Basically, measles can infect. So COVID, they say 1 to 2 people per one susceptible person can infect 1 to 2 susceptible people on average when you had the COVID, right? It's for measles, it's 17.
yeah, one person. Can
One
get
person
17 people
can
measles.
get 17 people.
You're saying just from
So it's like
one
'cause it's
person
airborne
being
or something?
contaminated.
From one person spreading. Yeah.
If 7 people stood in a room with one person with measles, all of them got measles.
Yes.
Damn.
If you didn't have the vaccine, that's basically in that
and the thing,
regard.
but the thing
yeah.
is, like, if you had chickenpox, you can get the measles, but if you had, and you'll be okay. But I thought it was if you didn't get the chickenpox, you get measles, you're basically gonna die.
I don't know.
If you've had chicken pox, you get the measles. It's
Like you're less likely to get the measles because measles are chickenpox. Like it's just a all.
I thought that was shingles.
Yeah, I thought that's
shingles are what old people can get, like
Yeah,
which is chickenpox.
Wait,
I
so
thought
what are the
measles
other
was a
types
respiratory
of
failure.
pox?
A respiratory.
What's the one
issue.
that you gotta stay in the dark?
The dark.
Wait, hold on.
Hey, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm, look that shit up. I'm listening to y'all, but I gotta look this shit up.
Is this
I gotta look this
some
shit
island
up.
shit? What you talking
Yeah, it
about?
might be some island. It might be
Is this some island shit, bro?
Witchcraft.
This nigga talking about you gotta stay in the dark. What the fuck is you talking about, nigga? I wish I had my fucking phone right now. Hey, but nah, I think measles is like a respiratory shit.
It's a serious.
Yeah, measles is a respiratory thing. So when you keep saying you sick, bro, you get me nervous, man. You can't be sick, bro. You missed the last podcast
That's all that
Yeah,
because he was sick. I'm like, nigga, you was just sick
Right.
again on this Saturday?
No.
Or is it the same sickness from
Yeah,
when
that's
you
what I'm
missed?
talking about. Yeah, I missed a
Okay.
couple days of work, and I missed the podcast.
Haven't just missed the whole fucking week, then.
It was bad. I was actually down where I like had to call out work for 2 days, but I had it for like 5.
Okay.
So like on what was strange is day 3, I felt better, went for a run, you know what I'm saying, think everything's cool. That night just gets like smacked.
Yeah.
And then I just like body chills, fatigue,
You
all
have
that
a
kind of
cough?
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had to something going around, bro. Like I had a cough for like 2 weeks.
But the problem as a server with getting sick
This
is
nigga said 6 packs of cough drops.
the problem with getting sick as a server is, especially if you work somewhere that's not offering insurance and all that kind of good stuff, is you gotta have a doctor's note to just like call out of a shift. You know, unless you got like really cool management group, whatever.
I mean, does anybody have health insurance?
I mean, honestly, if your job doesn't offer it, you know, it might be a hard decision to make for you as a server. But point is, it's a big issue about like deciding whether or not you're gonna go into work and like tough out, really not feeling well and sacrificing your body for people who really don't give a fuck about you, just
Right.
because you don't want to in turn have to go to the doctor, schedule an appointment, or urgent care and spend $100 to have someone tell you you're sick and write it down on a piece of paper.
Is it worth missing your shift to pay $100?
Right. You're gonna miss out on money to spend
the
money,
money.
so that you won't get in trouble for being sick. Compared
This is
to
bullshit.
But they write you the prescription. That's the thing.
Yeah, you
Y'all
gotta
missed
get rid
that
of
part.
Yeah.
That's what you're paying for. Is for them to write you
They
the
write you the
prescription. And then you
prescription.
gotta go pay for the medication.
Yeah.
I have the solution for you today.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So if you need a doctor's note and you sick,
This
whatever.
nigga, okay, so I'm gonna let you know you're finna get patched. Whatever you say,
0-day exploit right now.
whatever you say, I tell you is gonna get patched.
All right.
We're a server podcast. This is watched by servers.
Motherfuckers gonna do this shit.
Go ahead. Yeah. All right, bro.
It's gonna be widespread.
If you are sick and you need a doctor note to call out of work, schedule an appointment with the CVS Minute Clinic. You're going to go to the CVS Minute Clinic, you're going to report your symptoms, and you're going to say that you want a COVID test. and they're gonna test you for COVID right there on the spot, whether it's positive or negative. That's the only way the visit is free. It costs $150 to test for the flu. So I tested for COVID to make sure it wasn't COVID and assumed it was the flu.
It ain't COVID, so it is the flu. All right, bet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go lay down. Can you write me a note?
And they do. They'll write you.
They run to you.
Hey, bro, I've done this a couple times now, and both times the nurses were very sweet, nice ladies, and they basically let me decide what day I wanted on the note.
They said, which day you gonna come back to work?
Last time I was on my way to work, I was just getting the note. And she was like, oh, she asked me something. She said, you going to work? I said, yeah, I'm gonna try to go today. She said, And then she was like,
She makes it hit you. Just ask.
You don't got to.
I waited a minute. I was like I was really thinking about it. And I said, actually, now that you mentioned it. Now that you mentioned it.
You know what? Put 2 days on it.
You know what? I'm gonna go home.
This shit's gonna be slow anyway.
I ain't doing this today. It's supposed to be slow anyway.
They don't explain nothing. The doctor's note is, hello, this is CBS.
CVS is fucking
They can't say this is CVS.
Crazy.
CVS said,
Hey, CVS said I need a couple of days off. What the fuck, nigga?
Don't sound right.
That's not gonna work.
Oh, God.
Bro.
Oh,
Bro.
God. The first sentence of the note is, I recommend that this person go back to work in 2 days. That's it. That's the doctor's note.
and
How they
it,
gonna
like
argue
a scribble at the
It
bottom.
doesn't even say, like, he came in with symptoms.
They can't argue with that.
Bro.
Yeah, you can't argue with that worth of shit.
It's like, who else in here is a doctor?
That bitch.
Oh, she stamps it.
It's
So I mean,
official.
it's official.
Word, what is it? A letterhead and a stamp.
Right.
You saw a healthcare professional and they said you should probably not go to work.
Yeah, you should probably chill out.
And it
So
was,
the thing is, that okay, I don't know if that can get patched. If they got a stamping on that shit, that might just that might have to go through.
I mean,
because if you get fired
as long
for
as
it,
COVID is still a thing, you'll always have this patch. They can't not do it.
you're right.
All they have to say is COVID's been eradicated. They ain't never gonna say that.
You're right.
I want someone to tell me
Or they gotta start charging
that I
for the
can't
test.
that I can't get medical care.
Free.
Yes.
It's a pharmacy.
They can
Hey,
prescribe you
you
medicine.
can't get medical care
I
from
went to
CVS.
a clinic.
The
and
minute
it only
clinic.
took a minute.
This nigga said,
In and out.
so go to
In
the
and out. I
minute
got my
clinic.
whole afternoon. That's hilarious.
So that's the life hack of today. We'll see how long it lasts, but like,
Oh my god,
real,
I hope y'all listening to this, man. It's free
that's
game.
hilarious. That is free game for you guys, especially for your servers.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might, your ass might just
I
get
didn't
fired
know that.
later on.
Oh man, but we gotta go back to. Are we talking about the elephant?
Oh yeah,
We gotta
crash
do it.
out.
We got to do it. Hey,
Crash
man.
If you watching
Hey
this,
man,
you gotta
we gotta
something to
pull
sip
out
on.
something, bro.
Yeah,
You gotta,
for real.
Yeah, we
you
gotta
got, some liquor in there, bro.
Nah, it's gone now.
Damn.
Yeah, he's gone now.
Hold out.
All right, man. Hey, if you watching this,
R.I.P.
and you
Crash
listening-
out. Not for he not dead,
Yeah,
but
he not dead, but
He got fired.
We lost
Damn.
our mans. We lost man down. Yeah, we lost
the
a soldier.
soldier. It's
Yeah,
only two
man.
of us down there now.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Yeah.
And
That's crazy. We lost the boy Yari.
Yep.
what was the order of y'all like?
Of arrival,
Yeah,
me, that like down there or in the place in general.
in general.
In general, well, actually, crash out.
Crash out.
Me,
Him.
then you.
Me.
He was the oldest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crash out was the oldest.
OG.
He was?
Yeah.
Yeah. He had been there.
He was there for a year before I was.
Yeah, he was like 6 months before me.
I thought you were there.
No, he was like 6 months before me. And but the thing is, he had gotten fired before. But this one's the head off the snake.
Yeah.
You know, my Hydra. Yeah, bro.
Ain't no coming back from this.
Ain't no coming back from this one. This was a stake through the heart, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we was gonna leave it as unfortunate, but that's our guy, so he gonna still be around.
But he did crash out.
Yeah, he did
He
crash
crashed
out.
out.
He went out like a real crash out. He went out
In true form.
He crashed out. He
in
definitely
true
crashed
crash
out.
for him. He went full crash out for him. So
But also the way they did it was kind of, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, but he set himself up.
He did.
Like, hey man, that's my guy. I fuck with my boy, man.
He is.
He set himself up, and all.
Yeah, you can't do that shit.
Alley, and then them motherfuckers came out and just
They done gave up some chances too.
He got
Multiple.
I remember he got fired because he told Buddy.
Suck his dick.
Who was, no, he told the nigga from Bangladesh. He said, he told him because he was doing his checkout. He was checking out the side work and shit. And Buddy was like, hey, "You didn't do your side work," and he said, "Nigga, fuck that side work, suck my dick." And left, right? And left, right? And he didn't do his side work, right? So our GM, he comes back. I think he gets
night shift.
He comes back
for his night shift, bro. He was on a double.
Yeah. And basically our GM was like, yeah, man, you can't say that shit. You gotta apologize.
No, he told me to apologize. No, he said he sat him
didn't
down.
apologize.
He said, "Did you tell to suck your dick?" He just had to do it professionally. Had to look this man in the eyes and say,
What did he
"Did you
say?
tell him to suck your dick?" And he was like,
Might as well be saying yes at that point.
"Yeah." He was just like, and he looked at him. He was like, "You can't.
Yeah.
Come on, man." He looked at him, hit him with like, "Come on, man."
There's
And
so
then-
many ways that's wrong.
So many ways, man. But like, yeah, man. Our dog went down. He went out in true crash out form. It's unfortunate.
But no,
went
but
out
also he had an opportunity to apologize and he could have his job back, but he didn't apologize.
just now.
No. The time when he told Buddy to suck his dick. That's what I'm talking
word?
about. Yes.
Oh shit! No, I didn't know he had a chance. To
That's what he
apologize.
told me. He was like, yeah, he gave me the apologize. But I was like, nah, man, fuck that shit.
I said what I said.
I said what I said. So then, but then he got his, he got that job downtown or whatever, and ended up getting his job back like fucking 5 months later.
Yeah, but then he got suspended a couple months after that. He got suspended with me once.
What y'all do?
Not we. Like we were shitting the bed on this one table, and like our GM came up, he was saying something to him, and I said, "All right, bet." He was like, he was digging a little.
Yeah.
He was digging on us because we did drop the ball on it, and I was like, this is when I first really got there, so I wasn't fully secure in what I was doing. Okay, the cap, I was still like kind of like shit, and he said something to him, and I heard what he said to us. I was just like, what he said, he kept digging. I said, all right, cool, we got it. And Jim said something else again. He turned around and said, "Hey man, I said fuck it, all right."
That's
He's
what
and
Crash
he's
Out
like,
said?
yeah. He said, I said, all right. What the fuck else you want me to do? And I was like,
He got both of y'all suspended.
yes.
You got suspended for that too?
No. I became a solo that night. Nah, because he said clock out and go home, but he just said clock out and go home and left. And I said, whoa. So I ran up to him. I said, am I clocking now? And he was like, nah, you're a solo now though. And he said, you better tighten the fuck up. I said, all right. And I walked away. And like I worked, and then like I got like he was like, hey, you keeping all that shit too. And I said,
Damn.
because this was like 7:30. We had been working for like 2-3 hours at this point. So I was just like,
GM we got now.
yeah,
That's gangster.
yeah, yes, gangster. But he came back, and I like when I was doing my paperwork, I said, "Hey, man, are you sure about this?" He's like, "Nah, everything after he went home is yours, but y'all split everything at the beginning. But do another line for just everything after that time." I said, "I bet." He only got suspended for like 3 days.
Okay.
But it was just like in that moment. This is when I knew he was a true crash out because he fuck with you, my boy, but you don't know when to stop. Like it's epitome of a crash out. You don't know when to like just.
Stop
Hey, you
crashing
won.
out.
You can stop now. You won.
All right, so in the realm of like getting fired or suspended, I do want to speak about this. Something our job does is mind blowing.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this anywhere else. So if they suspend you, they allow you to do a shift in the dish pit,
To shorten it.
which is like degrading as fuck.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like
You still went to
thank
work.
God,
Yeah, I still got a job.
still got a job,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Niggas get
But
caught
yeah.
drinking on the job and then they gotta do
You
Yeah.
this
get
shit.
caught doing some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
They'll send your ass in that dish pit with the Mexicans. Back down with a sombrero.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
You know what I mean? Like, shit's crazy.
That's fucked
Like,
up.
you be in that bitch do-ragged up, listening to bachata and just
All right,
being
but
like,
no. That ass though,
Yeah.
at a high volume fucking steakhouse, bro. That dish pit is fucked up
Hey,
at
that is
all
a-
times.
that's like,
bro.
okay, pause.
And it's like,
yeah.
you there for how, nigga, before, bro. Matter of fact, let me tell you the day in the life of the dish shift pit.
Oh, you had to do
motherfucker.
one?
Nah,
Oh, I was about to
but
say,
I
did
know.
you?
I'm just saying they get in that bitch before we do. They got the dishes from last night
Yeah.
because they had to clock out and go home.
Yeah.
They got the dishes they got to do before, like while the shift is starting. Then they got that shit. Nigga, what?
Bro, and then you gotta also realize that's us downstairs. Upstairs,
They got all of this shit.
they got because eventually they leave for lunch,
Right.
like after lunch. But there's still people like, so you
Who
come
are-
back
who are- they're
at
still-
night
yeah.
and you're dealing with that same day's dishes.
Exactly.
Same day's dishes.
And then they doing that shit the whole shift, like nonstop.
Oh yeah,
Like,
there's no real
that shit's
lull.
crazy.
And that's what's
This
crazy.
shift pit
There's
is probably
no,
the hardest shift.
Oh, yeah, that
in
is-
there.
yeah.
Fuck being a GM of a restaurant. The dish shift pit in a fucking fast-paced, high-end restaurant, like where
you're the bottom of the totem pole, but you like literally they are like if they go out,
close the door. There's literally nothing.
All right, cut the closers.